And welcome to Daily Space Weather, streaming live once again here. And if you're viewing it not live, well, check out twitch.com/smAsho to see these videos before they're ever uploaded manually. So in any case, thanks everybody for tuning in. We're looking at the sun here in 171 angstroms. To see no sunspots and very low levels of solar activity. Here's a zoom in of the north area. We see some filaments up here, especially in the northwest. That one's been suspended there for quite a while. Here's the southeast. And thanks to everybody who tuned in on whatever platform. A little bit of activity kicking up down here. And let's look at the 304 angstroms view. There you see that filament in the north. Looks like some activity may be rising there north of the equator, also in the east. And here's the southern region, complete with date stamps. And we're looking at about 9.5 hours here. 10.7 centimeter radial flux, still at 70. Here's the 171 angstroms view, along with a magnetogram. And you can see any places of magnetic complexity there. This image from 8:51 UT. And thanks to our new subscribers, latest patrons, etc., we greatly appreciate it. GOES electron flux is pretty low. And when we see any sort of an uptick in solar protons, we're going to see this crater, as we are currently in an electron shortage a little bit. Relativistic electrons are fairly low, barely reaching the moderate part of their range as well. Expecting GPSs to work well, even near the equator. There are the GOES magnetometers, and this is fairly smooth and not surprising, as we're solidly in the south pole portion of the current sheet, depicted here in red. This data 1 hour and 46 minutes old. And expecting it to kind of stay like this for a bit. So nothing too exciting happening there. Just keep in mind the magnetic environment can change with absolutely no warning, even on sun-scale size structures. Here's a real-time solar wind, and we see a quite low solar wind density here, 3.25 protons per cubic centimeter. Solar wind speed 354 kilometers a second. All looking very much like solar minimum conditions. Here's the ACE, showing similar data sets. Next, we'll look at the geospace magnetosphere movies to archive 4 hours of this data. And the ionosphere, by the way, is extremely discharged, both on the sun side and the night side. We'll get to it in a minute after we look at the geospace ground magnetic perturbations. And you see a very weak magnetohydrodynamic pressure here when zoomed out. Zooming in, looking a little closer to home, we see the standard creep of the South Pole into the southern Indian Ocean. And in the north, we see the main current apparently over the Canadian North Pole. Now, Anomalous Howard, shout out. Thanks for leaving a comment, suggesting that perhaps China/Russia not returning data on magnetometers in Siberia. Perhaps that could be the case. That would be some interesting information to ask University of Michigan, whether or not they're able to receive data, / whether or not they believe it's real if they do. And here's the ionosphere we were talking about a minute ago. And you see even on the sun side, which is where you'll see the highest frequencies, right now just over Indonesia area. And yeah, very discharged on both the sun and nighttime side. And we're seeing continued charge anomalies there, southeast of Hawaii. We've been documenting that for pushing 3 weeks now. Let's look at the latest image and move on, as there's still plenty of tabs to cover. Talking about galaxies and clusters within the Milky Way and things. So let's next look at the planetary K-index, which has been at 0 for the past 6 hours, raising the possibility of cosmic ray flux. And by the way, if you want to monitor cosmic rays, we've left links to the network of cosmic ray stations below the video. Past 24 hours has not seen any 6+ magnitude earthquakes. We're just going to roll up the list here. We do see a bit of a swarm here in southern Alaska. That one is at depth, but not at a large magnitude. Here's a 4.3 at Chile. That one is at 123 kilometers. And just please bear with me one moment. We make these videos live to get them up on the internet as quickly as possible. We're not so worried about editing. Here's a deep quake hits Puerto Rico. Shout out Peter Schiff if you're listening to the live stream, or perhaps on BitChute. Let us know if you felt that quake, Peter Schiff. Here's a deep quake at New Zealand. That one just north of the coast, I believe. 4.3 magnitude, 231.8 kilometers depth. And what is this? We have a Great Lakes quake? Looks like a quake at the Great Lakes, folks. Before we get to that, looking at this Peruvian quake. That one's at 100 kilometers. Here's a quake 400 meters above sea level at a depth of negative 0.4 kilometers. Only a 2.7 magnitude, most likely magmatic activity. And let's just take a look at this one, as this is an oddity to say the least. A 2.6 magnitude quake near East Lake, Ohio. Right on the shore of Lake Erie. Check it out. Please leave a comment if you're viewing from Cleveland and you felt the quake. How about it? And let's move on to greener pastures. Windy.com's pressure maps have some green. Please donate some green on Patreon or PayPal. Ensure that these videos will continue to exist and help our channel grow. Anyway, here's where pressure will be in about 24 hours from when we made the video. It's 403. Do you know where your pressure zones are? Volcano rundown, starting out with Mount Abico back on the list. Flight level 9,000 there. Mount Aso also, flight level 6,000. Sakurajima, flight level 8,000. Sanjiang Api producing an 8,000-foot ash plume. Dakono, 6,000-foot ash plume there. Popocatépetl has dissipated. Fuego exploding. Flight level 15,000 there. Sangay exploding, 20,000-foot plume there. Revenador, flight level 15,000 as it explodes. Sabancaya, not sure on Sabancaya, although Nevados de Chilean back to exploding, producing a 13,000-foot ash plume. Please do not attempt to do a handspring over Nevados de Chilean's caldera. Here's where stuff is in the solar system. Shout out to the Milky Way galaxy team. There's where things will be in a week, just following the next full moon. Now we're going to talk about Westerlin 1, which is a crazy supercluster. Here's an X-ray teaser image. Stay tuned to the end of the video. We'll get to it. And no, it's not because we care about our view time on YouTube or how many women watch the channel. Anyway, I like to use in-the-sky to see what's going on above my head, as Cygnus is just about to rise, as well as Mars, by the way. Check out smAsho.org. There's going to be some changes coming, including our forum and all kinds of other things. And check us out on other social media, such as BitChute where we make sure all the videos get uploaded in case the YouTube channel gets suddenly deleted with no explanation. Because it happens to the best of them. We're also on Gab, on Twitter, minds.com/smashamash. There's Instagram. Some exclusive content should and will be on all of those sites to come, especially this winter. Activity shall increase. Speaking of activity, here's where lightning strikes are happening. And we're not seeing a lot of lightning strikes. Value-added service. It's the U.S. Doppler Radar map. Don't necessarily believe what it's showing you if you're not in the U.S., as this map has got some oddities there in eastern Canada. Don't trust it. Lots of moisture hitting the western U.S. Let's look at the water vapor map and keep this thing moving, as it's about time to get on to cosmology topics. Anyway, there's a water vapor scenario. Let's just zoom in on this area over Nevada, as there is a huge pressure gradient happening there, made apparent by the transmission of water vapor. What's nice about the water vapor maps, folks, for you new viewers, is that the water vapor shows you water that's not condensed on clouds. So using a visible satellite, you can only, of course, see what is condensed on clouds. And Doppler Radar is a ground-based system which is showing you vertical motion in the air column. So when the Doppler's looking funky, break out the water vapor map. And here's the western jet streams of the western world. We see an extreme bend here in the North Atlantic, where the jet stream is literally going practically east to west. Here's the eastern world, and let's keep this thing moving, as we've got about 85 more tabs open. Just kidding, folks. I'm going to talk about the Parker Solar Probe in a minute. But first, let's talk about Patreon. By the way, please support us via Patreon, the real source of funding for this channel. Despite your seeing ads, YouTube does not pay us for this content. But thanks for being associate producers, patrons. Patreon.com/smashamash. And if you don't like Patreon, you can always donate on PayPal. By the way, the gold level on Patreon is $9.99. You'll get all kinds of ringtones and MP3s. But all Patreons typically receive information before everybody else. Also, don't forget to press like and subscribe on YouTube, subscribe on BitChute, etc. And thanks, Smash Team. Get ready for the bonus segments, where we're going to talk about things that are fast and things that are slow. Now, I'm a fan of fast things like peregrine falcons and time trial bikes. Let's talk about something that's slow, the government. The government, very, very slow. And we're on WFMZ here, Channel 69 News, because I had a tab open for this, and now channel69news.com has closed my tab. Do you agree with Nancy Pelosi's decision to have her deputies draft articles of impeachment, even though there's zero chance of it passing in the Senate? Is it a political tool? If you'd like to vote in this poll yourself, I would note that 69.5% of respondents stated, nearly 70% said no, they don't agree with Nancy Pelosi's decision. Now, I'm not sure if Channel 69 News has a political bend or not. I'm not privy to that, but it is the most local news station. And if you'd like to go vote yourself, we've left links to that also below the video. Do you agree with Nancy Pelosi's decision to have her deputies draft articles of impeachment? Or do you think it's just a complete waste of time and taxpayer dollars, as the House gets salaried to waste your time and play politics instead of doing their job as legislators? Let's talk Parker Solar Probe. Are you familiar with the Parker Solar Probe? Now, this is the thing that moves fast, unlike the giant bureaucracy that can't get out of its own way, known as the U.S. government. Parker Solar Probe has been doing laps around the sun and traveling at speeds around 250,000 miles per hour. Let's talk about the instruments. Now, we've left links to all this. Today we're going to talk about the fields instrument, and we're going to link to that. This is the one that's measuring the magnetic fields. And we'll just wait for this next tab to come up. This is the data tab for Berkeley. And we've linked to all of these pages below the video, folks, as well as this one, which will tell you the data availability. So if you want to figure out when you can get data, this is how you do it. There are the different instruments: Fields, ESIS, SWIAP, and WSPR. And I did run one of the data sets here. I just basically took a random set of data here from April 4th through April 9th of this year. And there you can see the magnetic field data. And also we've linked to that data plot if anybody would like to use that for anything. We linked to that specific data plot, as well as to this page, which we did feature yesterday, which will show you the WSPR data movies. It's the only imaging device, and I'll just play this the second encounter here. This one taking place around the same time actually as that fields data that we just showed. This does overlap that. Anyway, there's that imager, and very detailed images of the corona are available there. And stay tuned for lots and lots of more Parker Solar Probe data, as it's going to be all over the place, especially on our channel, for at least months to come. So lots more information coming out about Parker Solar Probe and about the important data that it's gathering. And we did include the SciTech Daily article also, 5 astonishing new discoveries about the sun. So have a read there. Now, we are going to talk about the Calabash Nebula. And yesterday, Reuters inadvertently referred us to a bunch of things that we hadn't studied yet. So check this one out. It's the Calabash Nebula. This is believed by mainstream astronomy to be the sort of nebula that will be created in the death of a star like the sun. So that's going to be an interesting one to study. But today we're going to look at, we're not going to look at the Mechot formation. We are going to look at, not going to look at the Reshot structure. We're not going to look at Galaxy Zoo. We're actually going to look at Westerland 1. And Westerland 1 is a star supercluster within our galaxy. And it's an interesting mix of high-mass stars, to say the least, including 6 yellow hypergiants, 4 red supergiants, one of the largest known stars, 24 Wolf-Rayet stars, which, by the way, Deneb in the constellation Cygnus is a Wolf-Rayet star, a luminous blue variable, many OB supergiants, an unusual supergiant, etc. Not to mention an X-ray pulsar known as the catchy name CXOJ164710.2-455216. We're also going to talk about, well, geez, I guess I just talked about that other one. Anyway, we showed you an image earlier, and we're just going to link you to the Wikipedia page. There are a bunch of external links at the bottom of that. Next, we're going to talk about something a little farther away, this one about 300 million light years away, galaxy NGC 2623. It's really 2 galaxies, and these are believed to have created a bunch of star formation due to gas compression near the galactic cores. And without getting too into the cosmology of it, we'll just show you another image. There's another image from, this is a composite, I believe. That's a Hubble image. And it's an interesting object in X-ray also, folks. Again, tomorrow we're going to talk about the Calabash Nebula. So please don't forget to press like and subscribe. Please share our videos on your social media, as we are in ground level mode right now. We've just barely begun the channel, and we are in the process of going full time here. So again, please support us via Patreon, patreon.com/smAsho, the real source of funding for this channel. Thanks to our latest business partner, Twitch Gaming, as we are now streaming live at the current moment. And welcome to the Neo Renaissance. Check out smashomash.org. Look for changes there. And thanks, Smash Team. Here comes a bonus feature. Going to look at the sun in a different wavelength. I would take requests, but we are in a hurry today. So we're doing the 193 angstroms view and calling it a day, folks. Thanks again for tuning in, everybody. Don't forget to stare at the sun. Don't drive, and since it'll never be now again, may that solar wind be at your back and that atherosclerosis absent from your veins.